Here I am asked to study the diagram of the unit circle to the right and evaluate some stuff. So when I do this here on the unit circle, I'm given a couple of things here. I'm given that we have an angle that is in the bottom left quadrant, quadrant 3, which immediately before I even start doing stuff is going to tell me that my sine and cosine are going to be negative because I'm in the bottom left there. So when I'm going through and I'm doing this, my sine, remember, is when I look at this triangle here, is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of theta is just going to be 0.62 over 1 because that's what opposite over hypotenuse is. Hypotenuse is 1 on a unit circle. So we're really just going to get 0.62 and then make sure that it's negative because it's in that bottom left quadrant. For cosine, some people might think, unit circle, I need to know what exact angle this is. And the answer is no, you don't, because really we can just use Pythagorean theorem. If I know that I have this triangle, let's enhance. This is 0.62, my hypotenuse is 1. I can look for my adjacent side just by using Pythagorean theorem, right? So I'm just going to call it x because we're so used to using x for variables. So x squared plus 0.62 squared equals 1 squared, which is just 1. Going to use a calculator on this one here and do 0.62 squared to get x squared plus 0.3844 equals 1. Then I'm going to subtract that and get x squared equals 0.6156. I'll take the square root of that, and I am going to get my cosine, I'll say about because I'm going to round this to 0.7846. I probably didn't need to round to that many decimal places, but that would be this side here, which is my actual cosine value. Remember that in this case here, I am going to get 0.7846, but it has to be negative because my cosine value needs to be negative on this question. All right, if alpha is another angle with the same sine, but a different cosine, in what quadrant is alpha? So it's saying same sine value. Sine value is the y. If it's the same one, which is going to be negative 0.62, well, then it has to be here because it has to be negative. So when I'm dealing with this one here, it has to be in quadrant 4. If angle beta is another angle with the same cosine but a different sine, well, if we're looking at cosine, the cosine has to be negative 0.784. If it's a different sine, then it has to be this angle right here, meaning it has to be in quadrant 2.